Okay, students, I'm going to be showing you just a few ideas for decorating. So we made, now this is just a pinch pot, but I had you make a coil pot. We worked on it on Thursday. Once you get your coil pot finished, it may take you today, or maybe you'll work on it all day today and you won't be finished till tomorrow, okay? Whatever. But as soon as you start to get to the end of your pot creation, you need to start thinking about decoration, okay? I don't want you to just make a pot and then say, okay, I'm done. That's not it, okay? So we need to start thinking about the elements and the principles of art and how to decorate, okay? So I rolled a ball, and I'm just gonna put it in there because what I like to do when I'm finished is use the table to kind of help smooth out my pot, okay? Because I'm gonna have all kinds of marks on there from just pinching and attaching and whatnot. Now remember, mine is a pinch pot. I'm just using a pinch pot because I'm quickly showing you some decorating ideas. Do you see how I'm just kind of smoothing out the areas? If I did not have a ball inside right now, could you imagine what would happen? The whole thing would collapse, right? So that's why you need a ball in there. The one thing you don't want to do, and I hope that you will use common sense and know this, but I probably should mention it just in case. There's probably a few that won't be thinking this way, but you don't want to smash the ball in, or how in the world are you ever going to get it out, right? The idea is to get this ball out. See, I should be able to pull it out like this when I'm finished, okay? So I'm just keeping it so that I won't collapse this thing. But just use the table, and the table will help you kind of smooths it out. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does, okay? And then see what I'm doing with my fingers? You can smooth out some of those little creases with your fingers. My clay is still pretty wet. I do not have to spray it. If you can't smooth these out and it starts to get dried out, you need to probably spray it, okay? So anyway, that's what I'm doing, okay? Once I'm finished with that, then I'm just gonna take this out. You can just pinch it and take it out like that, okay? Then what I'm gonna do is start adding things or adding decoration, okay? So I've got things like this. This would be a good texture. This would be a good texture. Something like this. So these are things that you can start adding to create emphasis and pattern and repetition, all of those principles of art that we talk about, okay? So see, these are rubber stampers. All these are just rubber stampers that I bought. And I really like them because they work really well and they make cool designs. So you would start by, see, I'm gonna take my hand and put it inside of here. And if I wanted to do this design right here, I would just take that stamp and I would press into it as I am. If you can see what I'm doing, I'm keeping my fingers inside like this, okay? And then I'm just taking the palm of my hand and I'm just gonna press like this. Press. And then I'm just gonna kind of roll it a little bit and press. If I want the design to kind of keep going, then I don't pick it up. But see how it's kind of gonna go off? I'm gonna have a line right here, see that? That might create some interest, so maybe I'm just gonna go with that, okay? Maybe I'm just gonna go with that. And then I'll take it off and I'll show you. I'm just pressing down real lightly. You don't have to smash it to death or anything, just kind of press it down. So see, there's my little print, okay? So that's a good way of creating texture. Maybe the top, you know, the top of your pot, you might want to add some sort of texture. You could do something like this, you know, to add some texture across, like that. You could use on the outside. You could use something like this if you wanted to be more intentional about some of the areas and you wanted to add like little dots. This is a perfect tool to add nice little dots instead of carving in. But if I try to carve in my dots, can you imagine how messy that would look? Look at that. Don't do that. That's ridiculous. don't do that. You see how messy that looks? Please don't do that, okay? All right, so now I gotta fix that mess. Seriously, Mrs. Olds, don't do that. See how much cleaner that is? So anytime you wanna do any imprinting, anything, do not use the tools to carve out like that. Plus, I'm at the early stage of leather hard, right? That soft stage, you wouldn't wanna do that right now, okay? You wait and do that at the later stage. Hopefully you remembered that, because the later stage you wouldn't get all those little burrs, would you? Okay. So here's another idea. Okay, I'm gonna smooth this pot out again. I'm gonna move this down a little bit so you can see. I'm gonna smooth it out. Now I already have these holes here. I can't smooth those out. They're too deep.